This is Asha Saxena, founder and CEO of WLDA, Women Leaders in Data and AI. Just a little bit about myself. Spent about 3 decades in data management world. Started a company called Future Technologies, which was a data management consulting firm, then built an e-commerce company, and then healthcare software company. And now I teach at Columbia University and run the organization Women Leaders in Data and AI. And with me, I have Sowmya. Sowmya, hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, my name is Sowmya. I work at Estée Lauder. I'm responsible for global supply chain technologies. Previously, I used to be a brand CIO for Estée Lauder brand. And yeah, I've been in this AI data space for quite some time now. And I also run a Women in Technology ERG group at Estée Lauder, and I partner very closely with Asha on her venture for Women in Data and AI.
Well, this is the Women's History Month, Sowmya. So happy March to you and happy Women's History Month.
Thank you, and same to you. This is a very exciting time. I'm so glad we have a whole month dedicated to us.
Exactly, to celebrate. You know, I tell you, when I think about Women's History Month, I mean, the journey of women leaders has been inspiring, but also hard. When I started this organization, Women Leaders in Data and AI, the whole thought was that how do we bring more senior leaders in the world of data and AI? And just to, thought about how you've actually shared the same kind of passion around women leaders. So can you talk a little bit about the kind of work you're doing and how you see the journey has evolved for women leaders?
I mean, obviously, historically, the number of women in technology to start with, very, very few. And then now you take the field of data and AI, it's even fewer and fewer, right? That's why I think it's all the more important for people like us to share the awareness. And I don't know, maybe it's you and I are probably biased to some extent, but this is a very exciting field for me because there is so much going on. There is so much happening, and you're all constantly learning. That's what exciting is, and there are so many opportunities as well. So at least my mission, I think, combined our mission is to really bring this awareness to the broader community and get them excited and show the opportunities and help everybody, help the community. To really come along for the journey and take advantage of this opportunity. So that's what for me it's all about. And yeah, there is the moment you embrace this data and AI and technology, there is just so much that can be done. And the beauty of this is it really transcends industries. It's not limited to one industry. Once you get the concept, once you understand this, you can apply it to healthcare and retail and media, and just to take any field, you can carry this forward to any space you want to take it to. That, to me, that's what is exciting
It's
about
so
it.
true. As you mentioned, that I think it's not anymore, when you think about data and AI field, it's not anymore just math and science. A lot of times you worry about, oh my God, I'm going to sit there and build logics and do programming. But in data and AI, there's a lot of different aspects that women leaders can come and participate from, analyzing the data to visualizing the data to really cleaning the data or really focusing on security. So there's so many different aspects of data that you can get in and jump in. And it's not just building logic, it's all about and around which data can do.
Right.
And I spent so much time in the field of consulting and building solutions. During the pandemic, I think it was really a aha moment for me when I realized that so many companies had to digitize. They had to jump on the bandwagon of creating the hybrid workplace and having their products online and having a digital presence. That, one of the talks I was giving, the slide said only 18% of women are building the algorithm. And that's where, for me, it was the click where I said, oh my God, we are going to be living in the world of digital. And now with Chat GPT and the whole buzz of AI, everybody's talking about generative AI and how they can use it. But we don't have enough women participating, and it's a problem. So we need to make sure, especially the women who are senior leaders, can contribute so much to maybe share and pull up the other women who are around them. And also the senior leaders, and be supportive of the senior leaders. And I think that's what in WILDA, we call the Women Leaders in Data and AI WILDA. We have the senior leaders who come together in the small groups to make sure that they are together and supportive and learning to be vulnerable and be able to share what works, what doesn't work with each other through experience share, not advice so much, but really experience share. So I think the community is so important for women leaders and male allies to come together to make sure that they're supporting each other, learning and growing. And this field is growing so fast.
Yeah. You know, 50% of world population is women. So it's only fair that we have, more and more women in the field contributing to that. And just some of like, if you take my industry, we are catering primarily to women with our product at Estée Lauder. So it's so important to have women to have a seat at the table in designing the technology and the solutions, so on and so forth. So that's why I really think it's a great opportunity for us, for people, leaders like us, to really work with each other and promote the cause and support our fellow women to really take part in it and, pay it forward, if you will. And also, work with the young girls to take more and more, STEM-related, follow the STEM-related disciplines. And eventually, I feel like all roads lead to data.
It does. And no matter what you do, if you're in marketing, you're in finance, you're in operations, right, supply chain, right, really comes back to what data do you have, and is the data informing you, or can you predict, or can you right, understand how to grow your business? Right. When we talk about value, we grew up, you and I grew up in the world where IT was a cost center. And now suddenly the IT is now, when you think about the data and analytics, can actually create value. Never before organizations saw IT as a revenue center or a growth center. Yeah. And now with data and analytics, I work with several clients where I see that the data and AI is now sometimes fall under strategy or finance. So these functional areas are benefiting if they use data and AI effectively. Right. And when you talk about the value, I mean, you sit in supply chain. Can you talk a little bit about how you've seen that sure, you can truly get the enterprise data and analytics value?
Yeah, more and more. There is not a single day that goes by without having a conversation. Somebody, I need data. I need this data. I need that data. Right? It's not a single day goes by, and I'm not even exaggerating. So in my world, right, supply chain is very massive and complex, and especially with our, disruptions that are happening and various economic situations and the disruptions that are happening in the world, our supply chains are, constantly we are adjusting and reacting. So now the value of data plays even more, it becomes even more critical, because at any given moment, we want to know, where everything is, where our products are, where inventory is, what is it, the customer demand, how is that changing, right? It's like that kind of stuff. How do we have that kind of real-time access to have a full end-to-end visibility in our supply chain network? That's possible only if you have access to the data, real-time data, right? So data is one of our, one of the most important assets that we have. So we need to have that end-to-end digital, connectivity, so that we have access to the real-time data, and then we can create analytics so that we can track and figure out where a product and the materials and everything is at any given moment. And then when the disruptions happen, we can react. We can also do scenario planning. What if it's a kind of scenarios? So that's where we are focusing a lot of our efforts on understanding the data and connecting the data from various systems and bringing it to the center and creating analytics on top of it.
I was telling you earlier during our conversation, I wrote a whole book on that. I got my copy from the publisher, the AI I don't know if you can see it, AI Factor, and it talks about how do you use big data and AI to create exponential growth. And I think when you talk about value, listen, when we became engineers, we want to create something, but if nobody's going to use what we create, it's it's of no good use. A
Correct.
lot of times when we build applications, if you remember, the biggest challenge was we would build application, they'll get shelved. It doesn't get used. And it was the biggest frustration as an engineer was that you're building application and they're getting shelved and they're not getting used. So when you think about value, when you're thinking about value, I talk in the book about the power quadrant of data-driven companies, which is, you could be an optimizer and you can say, you know what, just going to focus on cutting cost or increasing efficiency. Or I can be an innovator. I want to launch a product. I want to spend the time and money into looking at my data to do research and development. Or I can be an extender where I want to just expand my market and I want to figure out what market should I really go into. Or I can change the whole business model by becoming a multiplier company where I use data as the key element, like how Netflix did to launch new content or original content. So really, just as long as the organizations know where they stand, it's like the self-awareness, right? Where do you stand and what kind of value do you want to generate using data effectively? But I also see a lot of organization getting scared of it's the change management, right? I see that there's a value, I hear about that there's a value, but how do I change my behavior? Have you heard that? I'm sure you see that all the time.
Totally. Change management is huge, actually, because, people have been there for a long time and they're used to doing certain things a certain way. Sometimes if you think about it, using a spreadsheet is the simplest, easiest way. Let me just do it and be done with it because I'm already know it versus using a system and entering the data and, reading the report. It takes a while to change. But I think people are seeing more and more. I think as leaders, it is important, the onus is on us to show the value of that data and creating that analytics and giving that decision making power to the user is really, really important. Like in my world, it plays in multiple ways. I previously talked about supply chain, how we can move things around using data can give us that power, right? Similarly, when it comes to our, beauty advisors, when they talk to the consumer, if they can understand, okay, what are your favorite products that you previously bought? Like for example, you come in for a skincare product. If our beauty advisor knows what kind of skin situation you have and what kind of things that you care about, is it oily, is it dry, or something else, etc., we can better advise and we can build that relationship with the consumer and have that much more of an authentic long-term relationship. Thereby, the consumer experience will be that much greater, and similarly, our revenue opportunity and expanding our market will be that much better, right? Similarly, consumer insights, that can, when you have a powerful consumer insights and the data and analytics from that, that can actually feed what kind of products do we want to roll out in the market, right? And what are the consumers craving for, next year, 2 years? We can have that foresight and design our new product launches accordingly. So the data really, it plays in various ways, and it actually completes the full cycle of our consumer and slash product journey in our company. That's where I think the value and the power comes from, when you use that data effectively in various aspects of your business.
If you remember, in our Builder Summit, we had speakers around AI, and a couple of speakers who spoke about AI, the application of AI, from agriculture to, you talked about five senses, how do you use senses in cosmetics, which was super interesting. I think one of your vendors spoke at the conference. I think there's so many applications if you use effectively.
Yep.
How real do you think, I mean, just before ChatGPT, people were saying AI is still in infant stages right now. And then we have ChatGPT, who just completely changed people's mindset. And now people are thinking, oh my God, it's in my house. What is your thought about the future of AI?
Chat GPT type of thing is kind of like how PC, I think Bill Gates was saying the other day, it's like a PC was back when it was introduced. It's just, I think it's just going to change the way we think, we do stuff. I'm not even sure if I'm able to imagine all the possibilities, right? It feels to me that even it's beyond even my capacity to understand or predict how it will change our world. Um, but in terms of applications, I agree. I think it is very important for us to really understand how AI works and what can be done with it. Once you understand, the possibilities are really endless. I can at least talk about my personal journey with AI and data. Like when I was working at NBC Universal, that's really when a lot of the natural language processing and all of that was really taking off. There was a lot of research that happened at that time. So it was sort of like in its infancy. And me and my team, we actually built AI application to process video in real time, understanding who's on the screen, what are the say keywords that they used, and what companies they talked about in CNBC and that kind of stuff, real time, and built AI applications. And then when I moved to Estée Lauder, it's a totally different world, obviously. But conceptually for me, it is still the same. Like, how do I use AI? So my boss at that time came to me and said, we need to sell fragrance online because during COVID, everything went online, stores were closed. So how do we get our fragrance? How do we sell fragrances online? I want you to think about it. That was really the problem statement given to me, nothing more. So me and one of my team members, we, fiddled around with it, think about what are the different ways. And we actually came up with a designed an application working with a startup out of Bay Area, where, using facial recognition and sensorial, the nose and the triggers that we have in our brain, combining a lot of that biosensors and AI, we actually came up with an application whereby we can actually recommend, because you like this fragrance, we would recommend other fragrances because your brain reacts in the same way. So it's like a little hard concept to understand, but at the end of the day, it is AI, and it's really up to you how you want to apply it in various situations. To me, that's the beautiful part about it.
I think also the AI, it's like, where do you feel that you really need to grow? Is it really you're thinking about launching new products, or just expanding your market share with the products you have, as I said before? But also, I think the whole fascination of ChatGPT makes it just real that you can actually make AI real in your business, even if you take small baby step, right? If you start with machine learning and just try to create a algorithm that will help you understand your data which you have and create some prediction.
Right.
I was hearing this morning, they said that right now there's no movies that's made on Chat GPT, but Chat GPT will be able to write the whole script. And they said by
Right.
2030, there'll be 90% of the movies will be made through AI. I mean, which
Right.
is so interesting, like what the possibilities are. It's
Yeah.
going to really rapidly expand. And if you don't expand, you might be left behind. So it's like you can't be a naysayer to technology anymore. You need to
Right.
understand that the value the tech leaders in your organizations are bringing is real. And I think the
Right.
business is actually learning about it and is curious about it.
Yeah.
So as we close our episode, Sowmya, what would be one thing which you would say, if there are listeners who are business leaders or technology leaders, what would be one giveaway from you?
I would say, continue to be curious about the technologies, right? Always, like you said before, whether we like it or not, technology is advancing. And like, as an example, ChatGPT is here. Let's learn about it. Let's figure out what it means to our business and how do we take advantage of it? How do we leverage it to either improve efficiency or come up with creative ideas, new products, whatever that may be. So be curious and continue to experiment with it, and yeah, try to it
And
out.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the basic element of a data science is curiosity, right? What is data telling you? And is there anomalies? And where is the data taking us and why? And so really trying to figure out and be curious and always learning, through your data or through your question. How do you ask the questions from the data or to the business and understand, and technology leaders to understand business and business leaders to understand technology? I always say that if you need to be in the power zone, and again, I'm right now doing all the speaking gigs around my book. So one of the things concept in the book is about the power zone. How do you stay in the power zone and create multiplier effect? And you really start with the problem. Can you solve what is your biggest problem? Where are you going to get the highest value? And do you have the data, and where is the data, and is the data quality, is the data ready to be measured? If you have those three elements coming together, you can create the power zone, and you can really truly solve the answers. So I think even if you take baby steps and start your journey, then you can
Yeah.
create your AI flywheel, which I talk
Mhm.
about. And I think if you don't start, you're always going to hesitate. So I think as long as you start the journey to create the value using data and analytics, you can start creating small wins for the business and for technology. Well,
Absolutely.
with that, let's say goodbye to everyone. Until next time, take care.
Right, thank you.